The royal family is once again holding its collective breath. And this time it's not because of a cough or a royal garden party gone wrong. No, my friends, it's because another bombshell might be on the horizon. And King Charles is reportedly sweating bullets at the very thought of it. It seems Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, affectionately, or not so affectionately, known as Fergie, might be preparing to drop a tell-all that could make Prince Harry's spare look like a polite diary entry. And you just know Buckingham Palace is on full alert, whispering prayers into their teacups and clutching their pearls. According to whispers circling around royal insiders, Fergie might be done playing nice. After losing some of her charity connections due to the never-ending shadow of Jeffrey Epstein's scandal, yes, that scandal that the palace wishes everyone would forget, it looks like she's shifting her energy towards writing full-time. And when someone like Fergie decides to put pen to paper, history tells us she doesn't exactly hold back. Apparently, this move has rattled King Charles so much that people close to him say he's terrified of another Spare-like explosion, because, let's be honest, Spare didn't just shake the monarchy. It flipped the table, tossed the crown in the air, and said, "Let's talk about the real royal drama." And why wouldn't Charles be nervous? I mean, after years of carefully curating an image of royal dignity, despite family scandals popping up like weeds in a palace garden, another book could unravel more secrets than the Crown can handle. Now, Fergie isn't new to the world of writing. She's published everything from children's books to historical fiction. But lately, those projects have been overshadowed by growing embarrassment over her associations and alleged half-truths. Some say she's been feeling the pressure to reclaim her narrative, and what better way to do that than by writing a book that spills a few cups of royal tea along the way. But here's the twist. Insiders claim Fergie's honesty might cause a full-blown panic behind palace walls. Charles, who's reportedly been struggling to balance his health issues and royal duties, is said to be dreading another public meltdown within the family. It's ironic, isn't it? When Harry wrote Spare, telling his truth and sharing his lived experience, he was branded a traitor, a drama king, and even called unstable by the press. But now that Fergie might do something similar, suddenly the royal family is concerned and protective. Oh, please. The double standards couldn't be more obvious if they were printed in gold leaf on the palace gates. And let's talk about hypocrisy for a second. The same people who mocked Harry for telling the truth about his childhood, his grief, and his mistreatment by the British tabloids are now biting their nails because someone else might tell their truth. So apparently truth-telling is only acceptable when it makes the royals look good. Meanwhile, as Charles reportedly paces around Windsor Castle, there's more drama brewing at Royal Lodge, that grand residence currently occupied by Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. Apparently, there's been growing pressure for them to move out, and the whispers suggest that they've made some pretty bold demands. Sources claim the Yorks actually requested not one, but two royal homes, Adelaide Cottage and Frogmore Cottage. Yes, the very same Frogmore Cottage that was taken away from Harry and Meghan after they dared to start an independent life. You have to laugh, honestly. The Sussexes, who worked hard, built their own brand, and gave up royal funding, were told they didn't deserve to keep Frogmore. But Andrew, who's linked to one of the biggest scandals in royal history, is still living on royal property, and allegedly asking for another one. The audacity. And let's not forget the palace loves to stay silent whenever Andrew's name comes up. No official comment, no statements, just a delicate no comment and a conveniently timed charity appearance from someone else to distract the media. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan Sussex can't even step outside without 1,000 headlines, dissecting every word, every smile, every outfit. It's honestly wild how the media can spend months analysing Harry's memoir or Meghan's podcast, but go completely quiet when the Yorks cause chaos. Where's Piers Morgan when Andrew's name comes up, huh? Oh, right. Too busy foaming at the mouth over Meghan Sussex's success and pretending to be concerned about royal tradition. But let's get real. Fergie's potential book could be explosive not because she's out for revenge, but because she's been part of that royal machine for decades. She knows how it works. She's seen how the palace protects some and sacrifices others. She's watched how stories are planted, reputations are destroyed, and truth is twisted for the sake of optics. And maybe, just maybe, this time she's had enough. The irony here is that if Fergie dares to open up, she'll probably get the same treatment Harry did, branded as disloyal, unstable, or attention-seeking. But the difference is, Harry's book had purpose. Spare wasn't written to tear anyone down. It was written to heal, to explain, and to reclaim his truth after years of being painted as the villain. And honestly, Harry and Meghan have set an example for how to rise above the noise. While the royal institution continues to crumble under the weight of its own scandals and outdated traditions, the Sussexes have built a life rooted in service, compassion, and authenticity. They've shown that you don't need a palace to have purpose. It's almost poetic that now, after all the smearing and manipulation, another royal might be the one to expose what's really been going on behind those gilded walls. Maybe this time the public will realise that Harry and Meghan weren't exaggerating. They were just brave enough to speak first. If Charles is worried about another spare, maybe he should focus less on controlling narratives and more on addressing the dysfunction that keeps surfacing like clockwork. Because every time the palace tries to silence someone, the truth just finds a louder microphone. And here's the thing. Harry and Meghan are doing just fine. They've moved on. They're thriving in California, raising their kids with love and normalcy, and continuing their work through Archewell. While the rest of the royals are stressing about who's moving out of which lodge, the Sussexes are out here living their best lives, free from the toxicity. So, if Sarah Ferguson really does write a tell-all, maybe we should thank her. Not for the drama, but for holding up a mirror to the very system that's been pretending to be perfect for centuries. Because, let's face it, the monarchy isn't collapsing because Harry told his truth or because Meghan dared to exist with confidence. It's collapsing because it's built on secrets, silence, and selective outrage. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the royal room, the double standards that could fill Buckingham Palace twice over. Because apparently, in royal land, truth isn't the problem. It's who's telling it. When Prince Harry released Spare, he was instantly labelled as a traitor, a drama addict, and, my personal favourite, a man embarrassing the monarchy. The same media that once chased him through tunnels and hounded his late mother couldn't wait to twist his words, cherry-pick quotes, and make him out to be the villain in his own story. Harry's memoir was never written to humiliate anyone. It was written to heal. It was an honest attempt to process trauma, grief, and the suffocating institution he grew up in. He gave us a glimpse into the emotional toll of living in a system where you're told to smile through pain and remain silent in the face of cruelty. And what did the tabloids do? They called it whining. But now the whispers say Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, might be gearing up to drop her own tell-all, and suddenly the tone shifts. Suddenly, the same media outlets that called Harry ungrateful are calling Fergie courageous. Suddenly, speaking out isn't betrayal. It's bravery. The same talking heads who said Harry should have kept family matters private are now giddy with excitement over Fergie's rumoured memoir, describing it as insightful, raw and poignant. Oh, please, the hypocrisy could power the entire UK through winter. When Harry spoke his truth, the palace spun it as a personal attack. When Fergie does it, it's creative expression. When Harry writes about his upbringing, it's disrespectful. When Fergie writes about royal life, it's a fascinating glimpse into the human side of the monarchy. It's the same story told by two people from the same institution, but one of them married an American woman of colour, and the other didn't. That's the uncomfortable truth the media keeps pretending not to see. Let's face it. The British tabloids have made a full-time job out of vilifying Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex for simply existing outside palace control. They can't stand that the couple refused to play the PR puppet game. The moment Harry stopped letting them dictate his story, they turned him into public enemy number one. Yet here comes Fergie, whose name has been linked to scandal after scandal, and somehow she gets a softer touch, eccentric, misunderstood, reinventing herself. It's almost comical. The same publications that used headlines like Harry's hatred of his family laid bare are now writing puff pieces like Fergie finds her voice. Oh, really? So when Harry speaks, it's betrayal. But when Fergie does, it's literature. And can we talk about the selective moral outrage? Harry talked about the struggles of growing up in an emotionally repressed household, about how grief and silence shaped him. That was labelled as airing dirty laundry. But if Fergie dares to talk about palace life, it's giving context or reclaiming her narrative. The only difference is that Harry's honesty threatens the institution's carefully constructed image, while Fergie's revelations might be used as a distraction from deeper scandals, especially the ones involving Prince Andrew and the Epstein mess that the palace desperately wishes would disappear. Let's be real. The royal family doesn't fear Fergie's potential book because of its content. They fear what it represents. Another insider stepping outside the royal echo chamber. Another person telling the truth without the palace script. But what makes Harry's story far more powerful is that it wasn't written for spectacle. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It was therapy in ink. It was a man saying, "Enough, I will no longer let you define me." That's what made Spare revolutionary. It shattered the illusion that the royals are unshakable symbols of unity and dignity. Harry showed they're just people, flawed, fragile, and often trapped in a golden cage. The press couldn't handle that level of honesty because it exposed how complicit they've been in maintaining the illusion. They profit off palace drama, then call Harry disrespectful for telling the truth about it. That's like an arsonist calling the fire department too emotional. And yet, even through all the hate, Harry and Meghan Sussex have done what no one thought possible. They've thrived. They've proven that walking away from toxicity doesn't destroy you. It sets you free. They've built a brand rooted in compassion, purpose, and authenticity. They don't need to manipulate headlines or trade favours with tabloids. Their actions speak for themselves. Meanwhile, the same media that tried to bury Spare under insults is now practically begging for Fergie's version of events. Why? Because they smell drama and palace gossip sells. But let's not pretend they suddenly care about women reclaiming their stories. If they did, they would have defended Meghan when she was crucified by those same tabloids for daring to speak up. Fergie may have a story to tell. Fine. But let's not rewrite history. Harry faced a firestorm for doing what generations before him were too afraid to do, breaking the silence. And if the palace had learned anything from Spare, they'd realise that suppressing truth only makes it louder. You see, that's the difference between Harry's truth and the palace's PR. Harry's truth heals. The palace's silence hides. Harry spoke to connect with people. The firm speaks to protect the crown. So when the media applauds Fergie for being authentic but still calls Harry disloyal, remember this. It's not about honesty. It's about control. The royal machine only tolerates truth when it can be packaged neatly, edited politely, and timed conveniently. Harry broke that mould, and that's why they'll never forgive him. Because he reminded the world that royals are human. And once the mystique fades, all that's left is accountability. And that's where we'll wrap things up for today's episode of Sussex Squaddies. What do you think? Will Fergie's book finally expose what's really been happening behind the royal gates? Or will Buckingham Palace pull another media stunt to distract the world? Either way, you know we'll be right here, breaking it all down for you, with truth, humour, and a whole lot of Sussex love. If you enjoyed today's deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and share your thoughts below. Let's keep supporting Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex as they continue living authentically, far away from the palace drama. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and remember, truth always wins.